They called it the best eclipse ever. Could this have anything to do with the most amazing eclipse ever that's about to come upon us here, coming across America in just a couple months? And what might the connection be to this unidentified balloon that was spotted over the western U.S.? And also, they had their own sightings in their own country of some strange lights in the sky. Might there be any connection going on there? And then there's 7 other planets that are going to be lining up for this amazing eclipse that's upon us. What does it all mean? You know, the year 1914 was quite a year. That was when the first WA to the R began. And that same year, there was an amazing eclipse, a total solar eclipse that happened on August 21st, 1914. You may recognize that date. It's the same date of the infamous eclipse of August 21st, 2017, exactly 103 years later. That is the beginning of the X that we're going to have happening in April. Is there any connection between these two? Also, that same year of 2017, or 1917, I should say, the Balfour Declaration took place, which paved the way for Israel to become their own nation. The Dancing Sun. Are you familiar with this event that also happened in 1917? Connected to eclipses once again. Very intriguing. Then there was an eclipse that happened in 1918, which was the last total solar eclipse before the one that took place in August 21st, 2017 that covered all of America. Wow, what might the connection between these two events be? And then finally, we had the end of the first WAR that took place that year as well. So a lot of amazing signs in that time period. Also that year of 1918, when the first WAR came to an end, we had the Purple of the Death. What exactly was this? And also that same year began the Spanish bug that took over. Might there be any connection to recent bugs that we've been experiencing here, all connected to the same dates? That took place exactly 100 years before the one that we experienced, which was also purported to be fake and fabricated. So something to consider there. We've got Brittany is saying that this man here may actually be a dragon or some sort of reptilian form. So something to explore. Also, Time Magazine put this out in June of 2023. The End of Humanity, AI. So we might uncover this cover and discover more about the cover there. And then we have the frequency of fabrics. Did you know that the clothes you wear may actually help you be healthier? And it's biblical too, so we might take a look at that as well. Mountain Dew has it came out with a drink called Pitch Black just in time for the eclipse. But did you know that they also came out with Pitch Black 2? What is the sequel all about? And does this have to do with the X? 2 eclipses forming this X. Then, of course, we have fires going on, wildfires happening right now in Illinois. And then we've got, someone pointed out the fact that this logo, it has a C to the sea, and may actually be representing some trails in the sky. So all this and more happening today, and whatever topics are on your mind today, you can bring them up. You can come to the fellowship here at MicaiahMinistries.com. As you see on the screen here, or I'm about to put it up on the screen if I can find it. There it is, MicaiahMinistries.com. So come on over here. It's free. And we'd love to have you join the conversation. You can actually talk live with us here on the air, live during the broadcast, uncensored, so to speak, but please do censor yourself in all the right ways, because we are dealing with the devil, and he doesn't like some of the things that we say sometimes. So make sure that you're wise about your speech. But come on over and join us. We'd love to have you here. You can actually, if you don't want to talk, you can type, and then we also will try to monitor the comments over there in you of the tube. And if somebody could be monitoring YouTube too, and just making sure that we stay up on those comments.
Perfect. It sounds great.
It sounded great?
I'm on board. Yeah, sounds great.
Awesome. Thank you so much. And be watching the chat if anybody has questions or anything like that. So awesome. Great. Fantastic. Well, I'm excited to be with all you guys tonight, and I'm excited to share with all of you. And if you could support this ministry, we need your support to keep going. So if you could help us out and pray for us, and also support us through the links in the description. We also have links in our fellowship through which you can do that. Thank you so much for your support. So guys, what's on your mind today? What do you want to talk about? Let's do this. Woohoo! It's time for Sunday Night Live.
Sunday night.
So, man, there's lots of things we can be talking about. So what's on your mind this evening? What stands out to you? What grabs you?
It's interesting that you mentioned about the clothing, because I've known about that for, like, it says in the Bible you can't mix wool with linen.
Right.
Science found out about that a couple of years ago, and people that with bed sores, they know that if they put them on linen sheets, they don't have bed sores at all, because it's all about the moisture.
You know what's so funny about that, and so amazing, and God always gets the last laugh, of course, as He literally says in Scripture that He laughs over them at all their foiled plans. But people always mock the Bible. They always like to say, "Oh, what am I also only supposed to wear? I can't mix linen and wool." Like they kind of use that as an excuse to not follow the Bible. Things like that. Rules like that are in the Bible that sound kind of silly to people, and yet God always reveals them. Right? Ultimately, He always reveals why it is significant and why it is so amazing. So let's take a look at this for a second. So, super fabrics, which send positive vibration and heal and maintain health. So linen, made from flax, which again is a natural fiber, has a frequency of 5,000 megahertz. Wool has a frequency also of 5,000 megahertz. So let's look at that scripture real quick about mixing linen and wool, because again, like I say, I've heard people mock that scripture before, but as always, God always has a reason behind everything that He does. It's never just something silly about mixing fabrics. That God actually had a reason behind it, and it could change our frequency existence. Whoa! Maybe it'll help the Holy Spirit tingle even greater inside of us when we get that wool going. So let's take a look at what it says here. So Leviticus says, if any clothing is contaminated with mildew, any woolen or linen clothing, any woven or knitted material of linen or wool, any leather or anything made of leather, and if the contamination is in the clothing or leather or woven or knitted material or any leather article is greenish or reddish, it is a spreading mildew and must be shown to the priest. The priest is to examine the mildew and isolate the affected article for 7 days. Well, there's those 7 days again. On the seventh day, he is to examine it, and if the mildew has spread in the clothing or the woven or knitted material or the leather, whether its use, it is a destructive it is a destructive mildew, the article is unclean. He must burn up the clothing or the woven or knitted material, wool or linen, or any leather article that has the contamination in it, because the mildew is destructive. The article must be burned up. Wow, I wonder how that affects the frequency. But if when the priest examines it, the mildew is not spread in the clothing or the woven or knitted material or the leather article, he shall order that the contaminated article be washed. There you go. You can wash it. Then he is to isolate it for another 7 days. After the affected article has been washed, the priest is to examine it, and if the mildew has not changed its appearance, even though it has not spread, it is unclean. Burn it with fire, whether the mildew has affected one side or the other. If when the priest examines, the mildew has faded after the article. So it's like a lot of directions here. You're like, wow, okay. Faded after the article has been washed, he is to tear the contaminated part out of the clothing or the leather or the woven or knitted material. But if it reappears in the clothing or in the woven or knitted material or in the leather article, it is spreading, and whatever has the mildew must be burned. I mean, they went into a lot of detail about this. This is very, God really wanted us to understand this very clearly. The clothing or the woven or knitted material or any leather article that has been washed and is rid of the mildew must be washed again, and it will be clean. These are the regulations concerning contamination by mildew in woolen or linen clothing, woven or knitted material, or any leather article, for pronouncing them clean or unclean. Wow. Do not wear clothes of wool and linen woven together. So I guess you can wear them separately, but don't wear them woven together, right? Do not.
They found it burns your skin.
Really? That's interesting.
That's what science was saying, that it makes the people's skin burn in a weird, strange way.
Well, that's what I was thinking when it's saying 5,000 megahertz and 5,000 megahertz, that maybe it's like together it's 10,000 megahertz or something like that. That's interesting. Maybe And go back to that article here for a second on the frequency. Yeah, so 5,000 megahertz and wool is 5,000 megahertz. Does that make it 10,000 megahertz if you put them together? I don't know.
Yeah.
But that sounds intriguing. Their mother has been unfaithful and has conceived them in disgrace. She said, I will go after my lovers who give me my food and my water, my wool and my linen, my oil and my drink. So wool and linen was very treasured there. Therefore, I will take away my grain when it ripens and my new wine when it is ready. I will take back my wool and my linen intended to cover her nakedness. Interesting, dealing with Hosea and the unfaithful, the mother that's been unfaithful. That's intriguing. So, okay. So you're not supposed to mix them together, and if you get mildew on them, look out. You got to go through quite a process there of cleaning this wool and linen. So just a little bit more of this article here. It says these should be worn separately. Wool's energy flows from left to right, whereas the frequency of linen flows from right to left. Mixing these two together will cancel out the healing effects to zero, and according to Louie, may burn your skin. I believe there is another
science, not me, science.
Science, right, science.
Science!
Science! She blinded me with... I believe there's another super fabric that is around the corner to be introduced to us. Hemp clothing. Okay. Healthier, but not a super fabric. Organic cotton, non-organic cotton. Interesting. So, the natural fibers that God made, basically, is what we're supposed to be wearing versus what are low energy, like rayon, polyester, spandex, lycra, elastane, nylon, silk. So if you're feeling down and discouraged and you're like, I read my Bible and I prayed, but I just feel low, maybe you're wearing too much rayon and polyester and spandex. Man, that spandex from the 80s, it just took over, didn't it? So now, it's all that spandex you've been wearing. And silk. Silk, really, that's interesting. Silk you would think would be more of a natural one. But I guess it's a low energy from silk. So I guess we got to get the linen. Maybe that's why we see in the Bible that we are wearing the fine white linen in Revelation 19. It represents the righteous acts of the saints, our fine white linen. And maybe the fact that it's white means something too. I don't know if that's pure, obviously purity, but maybe there's something to the color or the lack thereof color that also adds to the frequency too. So, okay.
I also heard they're incorporating metals into our clothes now. So then it makes you wonder, if radio frequency is affecting our health.
Wow. Yeah, I did hear that as well. Right. Metal in clothing. Let's take a quick look at that and see if we find something.
And nylon is a project of New York and London coming together, and it includes a thing that when your stretch bands they leave after a few years. It has some kind of parasite or something in it that made to break apart after a few years.
Oh.
Kind of like a planned obsolescence of your clothes.
Exactly, that's exactly what it is. That's why your nylon stretch bands lose their stretchy.
Okay, so high-end fashion brand rolls out very, very expensive metal clothing line. Okay. But maybe they'll do a cheap version with aluminum or something. High-end brand. See, Balenciaga. Seriously? You know about these guys, right?
Oh yeah.
Yep.
all the controversy with these guys. So of all the people, of course it's them. It's the B company. Just rolled out their self-proclaimed DIY metal line, and the prices are anything but affordable. For a tidy $825, you can own a T-shirt. Oh, man. One year my kids got me one of those EMF blocking hats, so that I wouldn't have to keep wearing aluminum on my head. Just kidding. I wasn't wearing aluminum on my head. But, but they got me one of those. It's like a ski cap, but it blocks the EMF radio frequencies. So I wonder if there's, as Oriana said, that there's any connection here with these metal T-shirts that they can just shoot a lightning bolt out of one of those towers and just fry you on the spot or something. Maybe soon everyone will have to wear metal clothes so they can use that. Kind of like going back to Tesla where he wanted to send electricity everywhere. Maybe that's a way that he can to control people. You could use magnets to control people and things like that, or
It's not very comfortable. I have some metal outfits and not comfortable at all.
Yeah, kind of like mail, like the chain mail of the Knights of the Round Table days. Yes.
That's not comfortable.
Not very comfortable. All right, very cool. Interesting stuff. Other thoughts? What else is going on in the world you guys want to talk about today?
Lonnie said something about some. Were you talking about? The blue balloons or the 10,000 Chinese in Texas?
Oh, really? Okay.
Oh, I was just saying, you guys, I live in Texas, and the border is out of control. I'm sure everybody already knows, but we're seeing it firsthand, and it's just kind of scary because they did show on the news that not only, most of the people that are crossing, like we were talking about it earlier. Sorry, I got in kind of early, but most of the people that are crossing are not women and children looking for, a better place. They're all
meanwhile China
really
is voicing support.
Really big guys, look like they're ready to go into war, and they have fought at the border. Besides, people from Turkey and Russia and everywhere else, they caught about, and I'm sorry, I don't have the stats, but 10,000 Chinese nationals. And I'm like, why would 10,000 Chinese nationals be in Texas? Why are they here? And I'm just thinking, it could be a connection with the balloon flying around, which I think is Chinese, but that's just me. I'm a conspiracy theorist. And then you got Chinese everywhere. And I'm sure y'all know that in New York, I have a niece that lives there. They have a Chinese police station. Why do we need a Chinese police station? So I'm just thinking.
Weird.
So I've come to the conclusion that the Chinese are going to invade us. That's all I have to say. I'm kidding.
Okay. That's something to look forward to. So, here
it's
it says
Red Dawn, you guys.
Red Dawn, right? And I think that was North Korea, if I'm not mistaken, in the original movie.
Sorry.
But same difference in terms of someone invading. And in this case, it would be the Red Dragon. We can call them. The dragon will be invaded, perhaps, is what you're speculating. So Chinese nationals crossing U.S. border with really disturbing intentions, expert warns. U.S. Border Patrol records more than 200,000 encounters along the border in May. So that was just of this past year. So with really disturbing intentions, okay. What does that mean?
That would hurt China though, because we're their biggest. If they lose us in their economy, they'll go bankrupt.
Okay, so there are certain dragons coming in that are really disturbing. Using a code word here, so we don't get any issues. And packs of dragon males of military age, unattached to family groups, pretending not to speak English. These are probably saboteurs who are coming in on the first day of the WA to the R with Asia. Okay. Now this is in Fox News. This is not just some out there. I mean, you can say Fox News is out there, but yeah, it's a mainstream article. Based on some of the busiest days along the border. Here's the one you said of 10,000 plus dragon nationals coming in the fiscal year of 23, a massive 300% increase from the year prior. So.
They're also buying up a lot of land around military installations across the country.
Okay.
That's scary.
Okay, wow. Well, that is interesting. And, of course, now we've got the spy of the balloon happening here as well. The second balloon. They had one, was that last year or the year before? And then they just had this one that came in. And this Air Force U-2 pilot looks down on this balloon. Now, they don't do anything, right? They just look at it. I don't know if they shot this one down or not. But the other one, they just let it go across the whole United States, and then they shot it down. Like, oh yeah, let it get all its intel that it needs, and radio that back, and then we'll shoot it down. So now I don't know if they're crisscrossing. Are they going the opposite direction now? Yeah, it says they drew the ire of Congress that they tracked it before shooting it down, allowing it to fly across all the military installations. It veered off course following the episode. So 1 year. Okay, so 1 year after the highly controversial. So this is in February, and so this was February of last year, I guess. 8 miles high. 8 miles high. So 8 miles. Not maneuverable, no hazard to flight safety. Right. Oh, sure. No, just a hazard to our country. So, wow, that's interesting. I think with your speculation, you might be onto something there, Lonnie, about, maybe the whole thing with Ty of the Wand is really just a distraction. It's kind of like a smoke and mirrors. It's kind of like a look over here so you don't see what we're doing over here. So could they really be planning the invade of the Jun here rather than
They
there?
really could.
They really could be. And they're sending all their...
And the others...
Go ahead.
The other note on this is when China implemented their one-child policy back in the 70s.
Mm-hmm.
So you have a lot of men over there with no women to marry.
They're coming for the women. That's probably one of the ways they're motivating
not
them.
necessarily, but
but they may
what
be
are men without...
Yeah, they could be motivating them that way, though. Like, go get your bride. So...
we don't know.
We don't know.
But
we don't know.
Just the simple fact that at this point there are men of war age. Like, what are they going to do with all that testosterone built up if they're not?
Right.
Yeah. That's just a thought.
Well, and if the border is wide open, then they can just pour right in without any problem and get in position, ready to rock.
Exactly, brother. I mean, I totally think, you guys, this is planned from within. I mean, come on. Our president is letting it happen. He let the balloon fly.
Yeah.
He's letting them in. So, yeah.
2 balloons now that we know of.
We're doing ourselves. It's from within. So,
yeah.
Where is the NSA on
Well, he's paid off, too. We know that. They own him, so... But it could be a bigger plan here than just, the dragon's being used for this purpose. Of course, it's the year of the dragon, so it's a perfect time for them to maneuver. They probably even see that as a positive omen. Like, it's the year of the dragon. Now's the time to strike. This is our year. So, yeah, it could go hand in hand there. But there's a bigger plan afoot, with the Antichrist and everything else behind it also. What were you saying, Louis?
No, where is NSA during all this? They're checking us at the airports, making sure all this stuff. But what are they? Where are they on the balloon?
Exactly, and that's the point that they're making. They frisk you, give you pat downs. Look at your nude photos at the airport. Meanwhile, they're letting everybody waltz right in without any checks at all. And they've got children with them that aren't verified that they're even their kids, and there's all kinds of crazy stuff going on. So yeah, there's definitely a lot.
I get frisked every time. It's so annoying.
Oh, I know.
What good is that?
I know.
It's annoying.
Yeah,
well, you can see why.
It's there to make you feel oppressed, so that you, they just want to keep a man down. They don't want to take away your freedom. They don't want you to feel excited to fly. That's for sure. So, okay. Other thoughts on this one? So interesting. This, I guess this came out back before. This was something that came out, a tweet a while ago between Mr. O and Mr. T, and it's related to an eclipse. It says it's called the best eclipse ever. Is what it says at the bottom. The best eclipse ever. This was promoted on the news and everything else. I mean, it does seem a bit of a race thing going on there, but this was news, I guess, a while back. I'm not sure what the date is on there, but it made me think. You've got the two eclipses, and the whole idea of he's of the 7 but of the 8th, and then we've got these eclipses coming up, and just the whole changing of the guard, and what are they trying? Is there something being communicated here? Here they reverse the races on it, so I don't know what to make of it, but just throwing that in there.
In the chat, they're saying we're in a World War III has begun. There's a few questions about that.
Okay, careful saying that WA to the R word.
Okay, I'm sorry.
They block it when I say stuff like that. So,
okay, I'm sorry.
Yeah, I'm sorry, guys. We got to be careful about these things. So was there a question or a comment you wanted to say about it? Or just that it has begun?
It's one of them says we're on the verge of it. One of them says definitely. One of them says we're already in it, and it's a new type.
Yeah, definitely. Definitely, it's like all the stages being set, and it's like it couldn't get any. I mean, they'll never have another shot like this where you just open up. You just open up our protections and just say, "Come on in." I mean, what's the perfect time for them to just pour on in and get ready to rock? And then they probably have people inside that are getting them, the things to use for the battle, so that they can fight with. So, yeah. Wow. Whew. Man, may the Lord save us. Get us out of here, God, please. And then this happened in the Red Dragon as well. This was they just had a 5.9 earthquake, and then they saw these strange lights in the sky, supposedly. So really interesting with that red glow there, and then other lights emanating from and with it, to and from. So that's kind of intriguing. Okay. And then we've got the planets lining up with the eclipse coming up on the 8th. Well, and the other reason I want to bring up Mr. O, I guess, with this whole thing was because Tandra made a great point about Mr. O's birthday being the reverse of the eclipse date. So let's take a look at that real quick. So we got Mr. O is August 4th of 1961, or 8/4/1961, which 1961 is a palindrome too, because if you flip 1961 over, it's 1961. So forwards and backwards. So that's a chiasmus, as we talk about in biblical sense. And then you've got 8/4. So the eclipse is happening on 4/8. Is there any connection between these two events? Is this a real birth date, or is this a date that's just to point us to the 4/8 date that's coming up? Eclipse 2024. That's happening on April 8th. Also, it starts with an A. I don't know if that means anything, but something to consider there. April 8th and August 4th. But that's 8/4 and 4/8. So kind of interesting there. And then, of course, 4/8 and 8/4. We talked last time about how it relates to Jesus, and 4/4/4 and 8/8/8 and so forth. So that's also kind of intriguing there. We've got the planets lining up on that same day. That's also something to consider. And all these eclipses happened in 1914 to 1917 at the same time as the first WA to the R was happening. And it just happened to be the same date of August 21st in 1914 to August 21st of 2017 being the initial X eclipse that took place here, making the X over America. So,
hey, Mikhail.
Yeah.
Sorry to interrupt you.
No, it's okay.
I don't want.
Please interrupt me. I'm just kind of filling until you interrupt me.
Oh, okay.
So interrupt me.
I don't know. I'm sorry, and I haven't watched it. I'm not up on your YouTubes. I'm sorry. So you might have already addressed this.
Yeah, sure.
But as far as this huge solar eclipse that's coming.
Yeah.
I mean the big eclipse. Okay. You do know, right? Or I saw that every single town that it's going to affect is called Nineveh.
There are 8 Ninevehs. Yeah, we did talk about that. We talked about that last week.
Good.
Yeah, so there's 8 Ninevehs. Yeah, it's pretty cool.
That is so significant because think about it. I mean,
right.
The Lord directed, Jonah to go to Nineveh to tell him to repent. I mean,
yeah.
Could this be the Lord? He's hitting all the Ninevehs. Is he giving us one last time to repent?
Yeah. And we talked about the 40 days, and 40 days after that eclipse, we've got Pentecost. And also we talked about we got into deep on it last week, but we talked about the earthquakes and how the resurrection may go along with the earthquakes. In fact, I might have gotten into it in the last video I did, which was not a Sunday Night Live, but it was just talking about the end times and the end times timeline. But definitely we did talk about the Jonah with the Nineveh and the 40 days and just the whole idea of the 3 days of darkness and 3 days that Jonah spent in Nineveh, and why did they repent so? Why were they so eager to repent? Was it because Jonah was such an amazing speaker, or was it because something miraculous happened, like perhaps a 3 days of darkness or an eclipse of some kind? There was an eclipse that took place that year called the not the Babylonian, but it's in the other video, but it was like the Babylonian eclipse, or it was something like that. It's a name like that. But basically, it was an eclipse that happened that year that would have been, it could have been the same time that Jonah was actually in Nineveh. So that could have been what actually prompted them to believe Jonah. And, because even Jesus used miracles and signs so that people would believe what he was saying. So there could be something that God made happen there that's even recorded in history that may have been the sign that people saw and made them want to repent. But, and 40 days later, we have Pentecost, which could tie to a good rapture time because that's when the Holy Spirit was given. So it's a natural time for God to take the Holy Spirit back again, just like he did when he brought the Israelites into Egypt and took them out on the exact same day that they went in. So it could be something along those lines.
And I think,
go ahead.
I think we did mention last time that the Devil Comet will also be visible during the eclipse itself.
That's right, the Devil Comet. We didn't get a chance to talk about it all that much. I know we mentioned it. Let me just bring up the Devil Comet again, because we kind of mentioned it at the beginning of the video, and I don't know if we really got to cover it. So let me just bring that up. Devil Comet 2024. So the stunning comet could photobomb April's total solar eclipse. It's not going to let me read it. Let me go find another one. Devil Comet is headed our way. And that's okay. Yeah, according to who? How do you know it's okay? Sure, it's big and looks weird, but Comet Ponds Brooks is no danger. That's what they always say, right? They actually, let's see, outburst. Comets have gotten a lot. Okay, so that's sort of a puff piece. I kind of want to find something else. There's a Devil Comet, yes, and you'll be able to see it soon. Okay, let's see here. Pierce is right. Oh, here's that Pierce. Somebody brought up Pierce. Who brought up Pierce right before we went?
That was Tandra.
Tandra and Louie.
And what was that regarding?
So the video Louie sent me of the guy with the horse, the guy's name who posted it was Todd Pierce.
Okay, because we got Donna Pierce here.
I saw hold on, I gotta go find it. Sorry.
Okay, that's okay. I was just curious if it was the same person.
Messages.
The snowball of frozen gases.
And then I sent him the thing that I saw at Best Buy where someone put it in a area where it says God's simple plan of salvation.
Okay.
And it said,
I was just wondering if there's any connection to this.
Temple, and the guy's name was Travis Decker. Well, I looked up Decker, and it says the Hebrew boy's name Decker means piercing.
Oh, wow. Okay. That's interesting.
Then, this morning I looked at a news article where it said the gentleman's name Matthew Pierce.
Okay. So this is Donna Pierce. So what are they trying to, is God going to pierce the heavens? Is that what they're talking about? The sky rolling back and he pierces it and, pierces the balloon, the bubble, so to speak, and opens it up? Are they trying to use this name, this term Pierce, to imply anything? It seems to be popping up a lot there. Well, the Devil Comet is called the Devil Comet because it's got jets that look like devil horns coming out of it. So that's intriguing. We remember we had that other, the Nishimura one that took place, which was, back there. I think that was that last year. We were talking about that. And so it's a once-in-a-lifetime event. So it's happening in the same time. Let's see. Every 71 years. It takes 71 years for it to complete an Earth orbit. And it will be visible in the early morning of the skies of April 21st. Let's see. To the naked eye by April, and is expected to reach a peak illumination by April 21st. Okay. So we'll be able to see it at the same time as the eclipse. In fact, when the eclipse happens, you might really be able to see it really well because the sun will be blocked out. But I suppose you could do that at night at time as well. But it will be visible in the early morning skies a few hours before sunrise during March. He'll be traveling through several constellations, spending most of his time in Andromeda. Interesting. Is this Satan falling like lightning from heaven? What could it mean?
No one's noticing that the moon is upside down sometimes because it smiles now and it's not waxing left and right.
Yeah. I've noticed that, but I thought that was maybe just in this part of the country or something.
No, they don't even mention it, and it hasn't done that. A song that talks about the smiling moon, nothing in literature, but it's smiling now.
Wait a minute. So you're saying I thought that was just based on kind of where you were. You maybe saw it from a different angle or something.
Nope. No.
You're saying it's always upright no matter where you are in the world?
It always has to be left to right. That's how it's always done throughout history. But it smiles now. And to me, I take it as a bad omen in the sky from God, because there's nothing that explains it here on the earth.
No way. Hold on a second. So you're saying it's always upward? It's always upright. It's
always left to right. It waxes left. Now it goes top to bottom sometimes.
It
or
does.
mainly only bottom.
It does.
Yeah,
That's the way I've been seeing it that way. But I thought, well, maybe I'm just thinking of when I used to live up north or something. You know, I was just thinking, or maybe it's the time of year or the time of the, you know.
It does not do that.
Really? So it does that everywhere. It always goes from left to right.
Always. Throughout history.
But now it's not doing that. And what's interesting, I put smiling moon. There's so few photos here. Let's see. More images.
There used to be none. I got some.
That's interesting. Yeah, so you're kind of saying like this, because this is, whoops, like, I don't know what I'm clicking on here. So yeah, so kind of like this. This is kind of what I see where I am, and you're saying you see it where you are.
Oh yeah.
So this is what we're seeing now, right? Whereas
that's scary.
The normal moon, we think of something like the DreamWorks, logo or something like that, where it's upright. Let's see.
There's not even an emoji like this.
Smile like a mile, like a moon. Let's see if I can get something if there's any report on this. Moon crescent. Okay, so normally we see it something like this. That's what it does. Has it been slowly turning? Because it used to be even higher up, right?
It'll be like that one night, and the next night back upside down, and then it turns back into the way it's supposed to be. I'm like, what? How could that be?
Yeah, because sometimes you see it like more upright like this, right? I know that.
Yeah, it could do that, but it doesn't do upside down.
Right. Not even is it going around? Is it like going around like a whole circle? Like in other words, will it eventually make its way to the top? And then be like a hat instead of a smile, or a mustache. Is it going to make its way back up?
This is the first time it's being broadcasted that what's happening right now. What you're doing.
So, Louis, may I interject here?
Please.
So, if this is a perspective thing, is what you're saying.
Mm-hmm.
No. Well, hold on. So, when the moon rises, it's on the horizon, right? Like as the moon comes up and the sun, I don't know how to actually portray this to you properly, right? But as the sun comes up and the moon is waning or waxing.
Yeah, either one.
You are going to see a crescent moon upside down when it is on the horizon.
No. It's not how it never did that before. It only in the last it started like 2012. And it would happen hardly ever, and now it happens. I'm like, there it is again. It's not a perspective thing, and because there's NASA, nobody has any diagram of the moon ever in a upside down position or from that perspective. I can't even find one diagram.
Okay, let's see what this says. Why is the moon sometimes lit on the bottom? A careful observer will certainly notice that over the period of months, the crescent of the moon does indeed seem to go from being lit on the bottom of the moon to being lit on the side of the moon. So what is happening to make the moon look different? It's a result of the moon's orbit around the Earth and the Earth's orbit around the sun. They always have an answer, but you can't prove the answer. And exactly when you see the moon in the shape of a U lit on the bottom rather than a backwards C lit on the side depends on what latitude you are at. So that's what I was thinking. I was thinking, well, maybe it's a latitude thing, but the explanation is the same regardless of when you see it from your location. We see the moon in the night sky because it's a reflection light from the sun. The moon does not, so they say, the moon does not generate any light of its own, so the lit part of the moon always points toward the sun. Now, as you can see in the diagram, as the Earth travels around the sun, the tilt of the Earth on its axis sometimes points the northern hemisphere toward the sun and sometimes points the southern hemisphere toward the sun. This is why we have seasons here on Earth. This also changes the apparent path of the moon across the night sky when you're on the Earth looking out at it. Sometimes it travels at an angle. Sometimes it travels, but I have another issue, okay, with the moon, is I'll be looking at it on the horizon, and it's like huge. And then like 10 minutes later, I'll look back, and it's like small and tiny way up in the sky.
You know why?
Why?
Because we're in a dome, and the side is closer to it, but as it goes up, it gets further from us. That's why.
Well, that's an explanation. But I mean, certainly that's not normal. I mean, that doesn't make any sense in terms of a space concept. I mean, that certainly would not, that doesn't make any, there's no logic to that. How in 10 minutes later, it's going to be super tiny and way far away. And it was 10 minutes ago, it was super big and on the horizon.
It's going up the dome. It's close right there. And
that's an explanation. I mean, that's what I'm saying. It's like, it doesn't make sense.
Have you seen the picture of the 2 moons that people are getting?
Yeah, I filmed the double sunsets.
No, I mean like not even a sunset, but like they're actual 2 moons in a black sky.
Yeah.
2 moons in a black sky.
Okay.
Which one will it be?
And I can see stars when you look at the moon, you can see stars inside because the moon is like a transparent disc. On the part that's not shining, you could see stars going through it.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
And if you notice the moon, whatever part that's dark, it's the exact same color of the sky. It doesn't matter if it's blue, the sky can be purple, and the side of the part that's transparent is the same color of whatever sky it's in.
So you got 2 moons and 2 suns, right? It seems like we have both of these things happening. And China, of course, has said that they created a sun. So, is that a cover for that?
That's got to be blue beam, though, when you see that. I don't know how they do the thing with the sun.
Okay. All right. Well, that's interesting. Any other thoughts on that one? Okay. So, speaking.
Aaron, did Aaron finish his thought on what? Was it just perspective or was it something else? I don't know.
Okay.
I didn't mean to interrupt.
Well, along the same lines, there's a thing called a dancing sun that took place in 1917 at Fatima. You might be familiar with the Lady of Fatima prophecy or vision that supposedly some children saw a lady. Well, there was another thing that took place in Fatima called the dancing sun. Let me see if I can show you this. It's called the Miracle of the Sun. The Miracle of the Sun, also known as the Miracle of Fatima, is a series of events reported to have occurred miraculously on the 13th of October, 1917. So the same year as the Balfour Declaration and all those other events that I named earlier with the eclipses, we had this event that happened, supposedly, attended by a large crowd who had gathered in Fatima, Portugal, in response to a prophecy made by 3 shepherd children, Lucia Santos, Francisco, and Jacinta Marto. The prophecy was that the Virgin Mary, referred to as Our Lady of Fatima, now again, I'm not saying whether this really happened or not, I'm just reporting it to you, would appear and perform miracles on that date. Newspapers published testimony from witnesses who said that they had seen extraordinary solar activity, such as the sun appearing to dance or zigzag in the sky, which kind of goes along with what we're talking about, the moon moving and the sun moves in a different place or upside down. So the sun apparently was dancing or zigzagging. And there was another event, this reminds me of another event that took place in the 1400s where they claimed they witnessed a battle that was happening in the heavens where all these orbs were fighting each other. So they're dancing in the sky, advancing toward the earth, or emitting multicolored light and radiant colors. According to these reports, the event lasted approximately 10 minutes. So, wow, kind of a short event, but there's pictures of people looking at this event. So I guess everybody went there, supposedly, because of what the kids told them to do. So they all went out there to look, and very trusting of children, because most people would just say, move along, kid. But they actually listened to these kids. So the local bishop opened a canonical investigation of the event in November 1917 to review witness accounts and assess whether the alleged private revelations from Mary. Now, keep in mind, this is being interpreted through a Catholic perspective, but this was just an event that happened that anybody, an evangelical church could have gone and reported on it, or somebody else could report. Why did they claim it as their own, right? So that's just something to keep perspective. Sometimes these events happen, you think, oh, well, that's a Catholic thing. It's like, well, they're the ones that are reporting it, but that doesn't necessarily mean that it's Catholic-based. It's just an event. The local priest conducting the investigation was particularly convinced by the concurring testimony of extraordinary solar phenomena from secular reporters, government officials, and other skeptics in attendance. Bishop Jose da Silva declared the miracle worthy of belief on the 13th of October 1930, permitting officially the cult of Our Lady of Fatima within the Catholic Church. Cult it is. As a gathering on 13th of October 1951 at Fatima, the papal legate, Cardinal Federico Tedeschini, told 1 million people attending. 1 million people attended. Wow. On the 30th of October. Wow. And there's that 30th of October and the 31st of October. We know how those dates tie in. November and 8th of November 1950. Pope Pius XII himself witnessed the miracle of the sun, or the man they call Pope, from the Vatican gardens. The early and enduring interest in the miracle and related prophecies has had a significant impact on the devotional practice of many Catholics. There has been much analysis of the event from critical, sociological, and scientific perspectives. According to critics, the eyewitness testimony was actually a collection of inconsistent and contradictory accounts. Proposed alternative explanations include witnesses being deceived by their senses. Well, I was thinking like mass hysteria or mass hallucination due to prolonged staring at the sun. Well, that's true. If you look at the sun too long, that could affect you. You might start seeing things bouncing around. Yeah, do you see it? I see it. But, I had an experience where I looked at the sun recently and, wasn't trying to look at it, but, I happened to look up and it beamed me right in the eyes. And I'm like, and so I'm blinking my eyes and closed my eyes. And then I saw another little round, what looked like a round sphere next to the sun sphere, the big sun. And there was another little round circle there. And I was like, wow, do I have a lens flare in my eyes, or is that another thing in the sky? So, So anyway, that's the gist of the miracle of the sun, the dancing sun, and here's another picture of the event. 1 million people, wow, pretty impressive. But I guess in 1917 in Portugal, what else are you gonna do? Hey, did you hear about the dancing sun?
Then?
What's that?
They had cameras back then, right?
In 1917, yeah, they had invented it by that point. But what were you saying, Gina?
If if you've heard of L.A. Marzulli, he does a lot of studies on, these Nephilim and aliens and stuff like that. And he has a really incredible documentary about this and how this was like an alien deception. So I'm just thinking now, is it time for another one in relation to what was going on then and what's going on now,
Let me bring up this other thing really quick. It was like a UFOs in the 1400s or something like that. I just want to show that to you because it reminded me of that. 1561. It's called the Celestial Phenomenon over Nuremberg. So it was this event that took place, and this is like an artist woodcut rendering of it. But basically, there were spheres and pillars. You think of the pillar of cloud that was in the Bible that they followed. There were pillars and spheres, and they're fighting this epic battle in the sky on April 14th. Oh, there's April 14th. There's another April connection. April 14th, 1561. 1561, which is exactly 400 years before Mr. O's birthday in 1961. Kind of interesting. And it's April 14th, which is just 6 days after April 8th that this took place. So, is there any connection? I don't know, but it's kind of interesting. Just kind of wanted to share that with you. But basically, it was a phenomenon. It says a mass sighting, so similar to this Fatima event where 1 million people, a mass sighting of celestial phenomena or unidentified flying objects occurred in 1561 above Nuremberg, then a free imperial city of the Holy Roman Empire. That's something also to note because the Holy Roman Empire is playing a role here in these last times. I did a lot of videos on that. Go check those out. Though skeptics feel that the phenomenon was likely to have been other atmospheric phenomena, such as a sundog. Well, of course, because they weren't there, so they ought to know. The sundog is a mock sun, also called a parhelion in meteorology, is an atmosphere. Well, this is what Louis had a video like this, where he saw the two suns. I wonder if that's what you were seeing there, Lou. Optical phenomena consists of a bright spot.
It was not a sundog. They were like 30 miles apart, and they were both just as bright. It was bizarre.
Okay.
We'll have to show that next week.
Black triangular object. Oh, we always love the black triangular objects, right? The black triangle. So, many men and women of Nuremberg saw that the broadsheet describes as an aerial battle out of the sun, followed by the appearance of a large black triangle object and exhausted combatant spheres falling to earth in clouds of smoke. The broadsheet claims that witnesses observed hundreds of spheres, cylinders, and other odd-shaped objects that moved erratically overhead. The woodcut illustration depicts objects of various shapes, including crosses with or without spheres or the arms, small spheres, two large crescents, a black spear, a cylindrical object from which several small spheres emerged and darted around the sky. So there was a report on it, kind of like, I guess, the news of the time. In the morning of April 14, 1561, they reported this. I won't read all of it to you right now, but basically they report the whole event here. So that's something to consider.
I just got a voice tell me that that's God showing us displaying the dome to us sometimes, like the sundogs and the things like that.
Yeah, the sundog, definitely you can see the reflection there, and it makes me think also of the
that you see how the dome, it shows us we're in a dome.
You can see it like a rainbow does, the same way the rainbow shows the dome. The rainbow shows the dome. The sundog shows the dome, and also the North Star, I think, also is reflective of that, with all the stars turning around the central point there. So yeah,
he's showing us.
Very cool. Sundog. Get along, Sundog. It's like a big reflection there, big round reflection.
Yeah, the rainbow does do that. That's
the rainbow.
Amazing.
Yeah, the rainbow is really a circle. You know, you think of it as it's just half of a circle, but it's actually a full circle, or it would be a full circle if you had another half of it. But it's only half because it's just reflecting. You know, there's some great rainbow pictures that really show the dome too. Here's another one. See, there's one. This one.
I think I looked up the thing about the halos before too. Like the 22-degree angle, it's in there somewhere.
And look at this. This is with the sundog. It looks very similar to, we were talking about the moon on its side, but you got these the cross in the middle there with the sundogs on the side. That's interesting.
Interesting. You guys remember when we were little and you turn the sprinklers on and they make little half rainbows?
Yes.
Anybody
yes,
remember?
Totally. Yeah, the sprinkler.
Yeah.
But now,
right.
If you do, I go out with the hose sometimes. Now it makes a full circle of rainbows.
Really?
I'm serious. Look, next time you're gonna go, what is that? There's little circles in the sprinklers now.
That's interesting. We should take a look at a couple of rainbows here just to add to the fun. Any other thoughts on this? The rainbow connection.
I just put a picture in the chat of the sun from December 30th because I was looking at it and I was like, why does it look like a reflection of itself? But then I was like, maybe it's just me.
Yeah, it looks a little trippy.
Yeah, let's see. Here's I'll take a look at that. Just a second. Let me just.
And Bryden says, Jesus said there will be signs in the moon, the sun, and the stars. And there are.
That's true.
He did say that.
Mm-hmm.
And then you've got this. Here's a reflection. So you know how in water when you reflect into it's a dome. And when you reflect into water, you get those deeper reflections in the water, you know? So I'm wondering if this is the water above the dome, if you're kind of getting, is that showing us like the thickness of the dome perhaps, or you know, giving us a sense of depth there, that we get like the double rainbow going on?
Pretty much, but that's a rare. Double and triple rainbows are rare.
Yeah. So
I love how the sky looks like water there.
Yeah, right? That's pretty cool.
Yeah, it does. Yeah.
Let me see your picture here. So what were you saying about this picture, Tandra?
The picture that I put in the chat of the sun.
Yeah.
When I was looking at the sun, I was like, why does it look like a reflection of itself?
Mm.
And I didn't understand it when I looked at it. And actually, that thing you were doing with the Fatima, I was asking what Kova da Iria meant.
Okay.
Because I was like, I don't know what that means.
What does what mean?
When you were talking about Lady Fatima.
Oh, Fatima.
There was
Fatima.
something on. Yeah, it said COVID. It's IRIA.
Okay, careful with that word, but sounds like another word.
And I was like,
Let me see that word that you're talking about here. Let me go back over here. So we're doing so go back to the miracle of the sun. And you saw something here. And just spell it out for me if you would.
It said COVADA.
Oh, there it is. Yep, I see it.
Got it. Yeah, I was like, what does that mean?
Cova da,
like in English, because I don't speak Portuguese.
So that's a quarter in the city and civil parish of Fatima in Portugal. Several of the reported apparitions of the Virgin Mary, witnessed by the 3 children shepherds, who was no longer a virgin, by the way, of Fatima in 1917 took place here. The venerable neighbor is considered the wealthy area of the city of Fatima, where currently there are numerous converts, hotels, pilgrims, hostels, is located near the places of Justrel and Valinhos. So this is the place that they said it all took place.
So I guess I Googled it in English.
Yeah?
I put it in the chat. It's still loading.
Oh, okay.
Because it says Portuguese detected, COVID day, whatever that is.
Yeah, what does
in
it
English,
mean?
it means grave.
Grave? It means grave?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
I put it in the chat.
That's interesting. Okay. So that's intriguing. Okay, let me so I guess they have a visitor center there now, and I'm sure it's big tourist attraction to go to this place where this event happened, even though there's really nothing to see there at this time, I would imagine, but maybe there's some museums and things to visit. But that's interesting. Let me go over here and just translate this real quick. So, what language is that? Portuguese. Of course. And it doesn't translate. They're not translating it. But you say that it means grave. Okay. Where are the 3 shepherds? Where did you find that it meant grave?
Tundra. Uh-oh. Where'd she go?
Well, she's working too, so she may have.
Oh, okay.
Big deal helping people.
I just put some pictures in the chat. I found on Orbs. I took the pictures. One of them from my fast moving car at 70 miles an hour, and one just in Vegas. And inside the Orbs now, the faces are growing inside of them.
Faces in the Orbs. Now,
yeah.
This looks like. Okay, now I'm just playing the other side of the fence, but this looks like smudges on your window, like raindrops or something. But you're saying that's not what it is.
This is my camera's outside the.
Oh, I totally see a face in that one. A smiley face? There's a smiley face in there.
That's your face.
No. I mean,
where do you see it? Oh yeah. Oh, I see what you're saying in the orb.
Yeah, inside the orb, because that's what you said, right? And then, so I looked in the orb, and that one on the right side and toward the center, it looks like it has 2 dots for eyes and a smiley face.
Yeah, I was taking pictures of them for a year, and then suddenly they started growing faces in them. Up until this time, then I got scared. I didn't want to take no more pictures.
No acid required. No drugs required for this trip, right?
Yeah.
So, wow. It looks a lot like the orbs that you see in the NA to the SA videos of what they call space or space. And those circles that they had those circles, orbs that they had a lot of film of there. And it looked where it's like a wheel within the middle of the wheel, like in Ezekiel.
Yeah.
The wheel within the middle of the wheel. That's what it kind of looks like.
Isn't that strange?
So what are these orbs? Where did you see these, and why? What made you start taking pictures of this?
Okay, I got a cat in Vegas, and my cousin brought it to me, and I never had a cat before, and I'm always going, why is this cat always looking at things, following him? So I started following the cat around the room, and I started seeing pictures in the orbs. So I got on the freeway, and I started hanging my camera out the window. This is one of the pictures I got. I'm like, these are real. These aren't even. It's not like a blur or something.
Okay,
and then
so there's no window or there's not like dots on your camera glass or anything like that.
Nothing.
This is a clean picture, and this isn't just smudge on your film or something on a window. You open the window. There's no window. You just open the window.
No window. My hand is outside over the roof with the camera.
Wow.
When was this?
In Vegas a couple years ago, and you can see. There's no way a face would be in every. If it was dropped on the window, everything has a face in it. No way.
And it wasn't raining, right? Or snow? Like there was no.
Oh no! It was a clear, hot day in Vegas. This was in the summer. It was probably about 110 degrees.
Well, then you see. I see another face there. I see another face on the bottom.
Yeah, but look.
I feel like there's like an ink blot test. Do you see the face?
There's a picture above it with a beware property sign. I when I got off the freeway at the exit, I took a picture of the car stopped, and the same things are in it. Look at it; they're even clearer and more.
Which one? I have two photos, just two.
Yeah, the one that says private property.
Okay.
That one has that one's a still shot with me just standing there taking a picture of an empty field.
I mean, that's overwhelming amounts. Like we're breathing these things in. I mean, this is not
right.
I mean, it makes me think of the videos I've seen of the spheres that are making the crop circles. You know, have you seen those spheres when they make the crop circles? That's interesting.
So these things, and they're coming. Further study took me. They're coming out of the TV in our rooms. They're coming out of the street lights. And I have more.
Are these like photons, or like you know those? Are they quarks or photons? The things that they try to observe, but you can't. When you try to observe them, then they move or they disappear. Or they don't do what you expect it to do. If you don't want to talk about.
Some of them look like eyes.
Yeah, it's hot. It's radiation. Because when the closer I got to find out and more of this stuff, I lost 2 computers. A thing would say, "I attack your console," and it would just write it up until my screen was gone on my screen.
I'm gonna lose my computer now. Thanks.
No, not this. But I was way deep. I knew where it was coming from. Everything.
Well,
so you guys, sometimes we're being led by somebody on the other side of the screen. That's why I don't have any of my names on my computers. Nothing. They all have different names. They have different everything.
Okay.
Because they were looking. They were on me.
Wow. Well, this is really interesting. Okay, couple closing. Let's what haven't we touched on here? Okay, we touched on all the interesting things happening at this time. We've got the Balfour Declaration in there as well, and then Fatima. What else is in here? Then we've got in 1918. Now 18, remember, is 666, right? 6 plus 6 plus 6 is 18.
Ooh.
We had this purple time of being muerto. So it's this great FLU that took place, but then also the same year we had the Spanish FLU, and which some say was also contrived, was not real. It was just something that they were doing to test everybody. Same thing. Everybody started wearing MASKs on their face, and so I don't know. You know, what's the connection with all this? But it's just something to consider. Because 1918 is exactly 100 years before the event of the 2 of the 0 of the 1, which took place in 2018, and then that I think it was, and then following in 2019 at the end they had the first cases, and they were planning for that, very similar to the 9 of the 1-1 situation where they were planning for that, and it happened on the same day. So. Some interesting connections there. Of course, then we've got this thing, Britney Spears saying that Prince William is not human, that he's really a reptile.
Can I bring something up about the last?
Yeah, go ahead.
That. So apparently they have now discovered a new deadly, which is the H5N1 strain, I guess, out of Antarctica that is affecting penguins. This was discovered 2 weeks ago, but it's also interesting because our government was spending millions there to fund experiments. So
And they don't want anyone down there.
exactly.
Really?
In a place where we can't even find real information on this. So
Right.
And okay.
Right. I think you never know what their shenanigans are, but it's just fascinating that you brought that up.
Okay, so it says here, Antarctica's penguins could be devastated by. Of course, they don't want to show it to me.
Oh,
Hold on, we'll find another one.
they said the same thing about the polar bears.
Yeah.
exactly. It's just all lies, but
How is it like? How could any bacteria or virus even live there? It's so cold.
I know, huh? First of all, viruses aren't alive. Let's remember that.
Right.
So they're saying H5N1 on this one.
I just heard something about Persia going down to the Antarctica too. I'm looking that up right now. I literally just heard that.
So basically, they already don't let you go to Antarctica, as everybody knows, and for nefarious reasons. But now they're saying because of this, they're preparing for a large scale out of the break, and they reported that the bird FLU is suspected in king penguins, and
of course.
And so they're not. So what are they doing now? They're not letting people there, even more so, or
well, it sounds like the research they say is infecting ducks, geese, and different strains to study. So it'll then jump into mammalian hosts, according to the research docs. So they're setting up. They're setting up a scenario.
They're setting up a scenario, right, where they can say, "Oh, it didn't come out of the red dragon this time; it came out of Antarctica."
Exactly.
Gotcha.
Lies, and more lies.
Right, and that way, and no one can verify that, right? It's a perfect place for something to come out of because nobody's allowed to go there to verify anything anyway. So it's like, yeah, it came out of there.
Verify it, though. I can verify it for you if you'd like.
You can de-verify it.
Yeah. We already did. Like, we're saying that they're just setting up a scenario.
Right.
Scenario.
That's
Yay.
It's fake. It's all fake, people.
All fake.
When will we wake up and learn these things? Okay. Thank you for sharing that. That's very interesting. And then, of course, there's the reptilian thing, which, it's just kind of, I don't know what to make of that. Why would she even say this? Does anybody know why she said this?
Because she can.
She's trying to get exposure, trying to get people to think about her again.
It's great publicity.
I think it was interesting, though, that it was back from 2017. Like, why is this coming up now?
Yeah, right. They're digging it back up. This is July 20th or 30th, 2017. So, yeah, why would they make a big thing about it now?
She can't shave her head again.
Because they want us to be thinking that way about him?
That's funny.
And then this is Time Magazine from July of this past year. Just kind of interesting.
Oh, hey, look, AI.
And they got AI in there, right?
So, I didn't even notice that.
Oh, you didn't notice that?
No.
Well, there it is.
I don't know.
For your noticing pleasure. How real is the risk? It says at the bottom of the magazine. I don't know if you can see that part. And it's a special report. So that was in July of this past year that they came out with that. But for some reason, that popped up again. I think somebody shared that with me today. But
yeah, I did.
But why would they say it's the end of humanity, right? It doesn't sound very positive. Like, you would think they'd be pro AI and they'd be pushing AI.
They're literally like, hey, I know we have movies like iRobot, but you don't have to worry about it. You don't have to be scared of it, but here it is again. And yeah, read between the lines.
Right, like Terminator. But they're saying that it seems like time is an agreement. Usually time is, they're obviously part of the system. So why would they say the end of humanity? Is that to strike fear? What's their goal in saying that rather than saying, the hope for humanity? They could have said AI was the hope for humanity. So it's just
they're on both sides.
Literally like
enemies on both sides.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, wasn't one of the people who used to work for Google AI or something? Didn't he get in trouble a few years back and he actually got fired because he was like, "There's a problem with AI."
Yeah, he did.
Yeah,
he did, and they interviewed him about that. Yeah, so that happened. And then we got Mountain Dew. What's the big deal? Has anybody tried this flavor? I'm kind of wondering what it tastes like. Has anybody actually tried? Beware. Maybe you shouldn't. Who knows what's in this? What makes it black? And then why did they come out with a sequel? And does this have anything to do with the X of the 2 eclipses that's coming across America? Something to...
Oh, and the colors. I just realized.
Yeah. Do you see the purple? Like the purple lights?
Yes. Yeah, it looks like the lights that they're using, but also the red and green are used in rituals all the time.
Red, green,
like
and black.
Christmas?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And those are the colors of the 4 horsemen also.
Oh, that's true. That's true. We talked about that in other videos. Yeah, that's right. The 4 horsemen. So you got the red horseman, the pale horse is green. You got the white horse, and you got the black horse. Is it black or is it or it's kind of a pale or no? What's the other color?
Pale green.
Well, no, pale green. Yeah, but what's the? Is it a black horse or is it like a chart? Oh, what color is it now? I kind of want to look. Oh.
Can you go back to pitch black too? Because I want to on the second one, I was like, that's interesting that they're using a fluorescent color.
Yeah, like the lights.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Yep.
And I was trying to read what it said because it said sour bites, I think, or something. And I was like, what?
Like bitter?
Yeah,
sour?
like
wormwood?
Yeah.
Like wormwood?
On the pitch black 2 one.
Yeah.
Possibly.
Wormwood.
Wormwood. Uh-oh, don't get Aaron started. No, Aaron, no, don't.
You just have to Mountain Dew, that's all.
Did you
All
say
right, so
wormwood?
White horse, fiery red, black horse. I guess it does say black horse there. I was just wondering if they I wonder what the actual, I don't know. I'm intrigued for some reason about the black horse for a second here. Revelation 6. Just kind of want to see the word they use for black horse. Let's see, black horse. Let's see the word here. The steel. I heard the third come and beheld black melas. I remember looking this up before. Melas, black ink. Black ink. That's interesting. Black. Okay, well, there it is. So all 4 colors of the 4 horsemen are represented in this Mountain Dew. Do the do. And is there any significance to the shape of this insignia? You see it's kind of almost like the bat wings or something there.
It says, what is this? A blast of grape flavor with a sour bite?
With a punch. Ooh, with a punch. That kind of goes along with end times. With a punch of grape citrus flavor. A punch, huh? A blast of grape flavor with a sour bite with other natural flavors. Like colostrum.
Hawaiian punch.
Part 2, back with a sour bite. Okay. They're back. So just in time for the... When did the first one come out? Did it come out at the time of the first eclipse?
That's a good question.
Kind of curious.
They
now.
put a Maui one out right before the fires.
Yeah, they did.
When did...
Right.
They did a Maui one, you're right. When did Mountain
Dew's on.
Pitch Black come out? Let's see. It came out in 20... release of the Halloween season of 2004. Oh, that came out in 2004. It's the first time it came out. Had many limited time releases and eventually so 20 years. It's a 20-year anniversary. Had many limited time releases, eventually became a permanent flavor in 2021. It returned for the brief limited time in January 2023. And now we have the sequel. And
that wasn't me.
And number 2 made it ways to the shelves in 2005, according to this. But I don't know. We could be getting Mandela affected here. I don't really know.
Oh, yeah.
But that's interesting.
Ooh.
All right. That's cool. Interesting. Intriguing. There's a fire going on in Illinois. A wildfire. And then, they always hide stuff in their logos of the evil they're really doing. They say they're here to control the D of the Z's, but really they're creating them with the trails in the sky. Any other topics we should hit on before we wrap things up for tonight? This is a good discussion, guys. We covered a lot of interesting ground.
It was very nice. Very
intriguing. And if you haven't joined us yet, we hope you'll come over to MacAyoMinistries.com. We don't bite that hard. And we hope you'll come over and join us and love you. We'll love you and love you and love you. And come over and join the love.
Someone said in the chat, a little behind the chat, but it says, I think there's several moons mentioned in the book of Enoch. And Tim Cohen called it.
Many moons. The many moons of Enoch. Okay. Let's see. Book of Enoch.
And what did Tim Cohen say?
It says Tim Cohen called it Blucifer.
Blucifer?
Yeah, I don't know what that means. Who's Tim Cohen?
That's the horse at the Denver International Airport. They call the horse Blucifer. That's so weird.
Scary.
It appears with the sun on the gate through which the sun exits, and you have the beginning of the month. So Enoch talks about the regards to the new moon. But I don't know what, in terms of other moons, maybe they're heavenly luminaries. Talks about there. The sun will be turned to darkness and the moon to blood. We all know about that one. So, okay. That's interesting, too.
Trump is in one of the paintings at that airport, too.
Mr. T?
Trump?
Yeah.
Yeah, are you talking about the Dallas? Let's see.
Denver.
The Dallas?
Or no, Denver.
No,
is it Denver?
Denver Airport, yeah.
Yeah, sorry, Denver.
The Denver
Airport.
3 of the May of
It's like, how complicated can we make speech? Denver
TV
Airport.
stewardess, I speak jive.
There's Blucifer. Did you see him?
No.
Go back one. There you go. Right there.
Which one? The horse?
They call him Blucifer.
Oh, they do. Blucifer. What's the story with Denver Airport's scary horse statue? Oh, man.
Yeah, the sculptor actually died.
What? Oh.
The weird but true. Oh, this sounds like a good. We can wrap it up with this one. The weird but true story behind Denver Airport's scary horse statue. If you're flying into Denver International Airport, you might have some questions about the colossal demon-eyed horse statue staring into your very soul as you make your descent. Oh, great. Here are some answers. So,
welcome to Denver.
Welcome to Denver. Yeah. Denver International is a profoundly cursed airport built in 1995 to the tune of $4.8 billion. That's a billion with a B. But how in the world did it go $2 billion over budget? And where did all that money go? And also, B, I don't know words are going to show up in this article. As in beats me, you ask a lot of questions. Since its creation, it's gained a reputation among flyers as the air travel equivalent of what? The air travel equivalent of, I'm afraid of what some of these things are. Does anybody know about this? The Precious Moments figurine? Should I click on this? It says it's blood soaked. Sounds scary. Atlanta's airport is busy and Chicago is messy and New York's is fragrant. But Denver's airport is a truly singular nightmare vision. From the ghoulish murals to the rumors of secret subterranean catacombs deep beneath it, the airport has become the locus of several elaborate conspiracy of the theories. From lizard people to free of the May of the Song. The airport even participates in its own status. It has installed talking gargoyles. Really?
Oh.
Helpful infographics about the necessity of renovating the lizard people's lair. And an illumin of the nutty shake at the airport's branch of Little Man Ice Cream. What is this? Again, I'm afraid to click on this stuff. I don't know what it's going to be. It's made of vanilla ice cream, absinthe. Oh, absinthe. Wormwood. Oh, they got an ice cream made with wormwood. And maraschino liqueur for the record. But in this cornucopia of madness, one equine shape towers above the rest, and the world knows it by the name Blucifer. Blucifer is a 32-foot-tall, 4.5-ton statue of a blue Mustang with flaming coal red eyes and an expression straight out of a Bosch painting. The cobalt abomination is the first thing flyers see while making their descent into Denver, and it sets the tone beautifully. I bet it does. Welcome to Denver. Welcome to Denver. Here's Satan's horse. Why is he here? Why is anything here? Enjoy the airport snack shop and try to ignore how veiny this horse is. Lucifer's Christian name is technically Blue Mustang, name used by precisely nobody, and certainly not by the artist who built it. Okay. The sculptor and artist who designed and created Lucifer was tragically, of course he was. He was tragically removed from our midst in 2006 after an enormous section of the sculpture fell and crushed his leg. How convenient. So his own sculpture is what took him out, severing an artery. And then his sons completed the work on this horrific killing statue. And in 2008, Blue Mustang was finally erected outside the airport to greet travelers with an apocalyptic vision of getting trampled by the scary... This is just crazy. It was promptly nicknamed Blucifer by locals, all of whom were correct. When one thinks of Denver, one thinks of omelets, Denver, John, and our hardy pioneer forefathers. And the commissioning of Blucifer was meant to commemorate America's westward ambition and free-roaming spirit and weird obsession with horses. Well, who can't love horses? One to appeal to the public sense of adventure was inspired by the legend such and such, a mythical blue Mustang who was really good at finding food and grass and ran so fast it could practically fly. It's Pegasus. The eyes that burn in the night and follow you as you fly in out of Denver are fire engine red neon in tribute to Jimenez's father, who owned a neon sign workshop. They always find an excuse, Oh, no, that's just a tribute to his father. That has nothing to do with the devil. What are you talking about?
Right.
We need to count our blessings that it's Lucifer.
What?
Oriana, if I come and visit you, I'm taking Amtrak. I'm sorry.
No Lucifer for you, Gina.
No Lucifer for me.
Okay. Well, there it is, guys.
Trusting the rail. I'm trusting the railway system. Wait a minute. I don't know about that one either.
The legend of Lucifer will continue. Let's close out with just an appreciation of how this world is going to the devil. There it is. That's Lucifer in all his demonic splendor, or lack
so
thereof.
Blatant. Yeah, so blatant.
So in your face.
And then and then they and then of course
they actually fought. They fought to take it down, the community, and
they lost.
They obviously lost. Yeah.
Yeah, it's kind of offensive, isn't it? To say the least. And then here he is with the clouds. That's interesting. So is this the pale horse? They call him Lucifer, but when you look at him, he looks kind of like the pale horse, which is a pale green, chloros. So is this really the pale horse? Is that really what they're saying? Because that looks kind of like a pale green as well. Or maybe it's just the coloring on my side. Let me. I think I have the wrong coloring on my screen. I have my blue blocker on, so maybe I can't see the blue. That's probably my fault. I mean, yeah, it's blue, I guess, but I don't know. Kind of pale. So something to think about there. Maybe it's leaning toward the pale horse in some way. Yeah, I guess it's pretty blue, but I don't know. Something to think about. Yellow and blue make green. So maybe there's a yellow that's going to get involved here somehow. Well, guys, this has been a great conversation tonight. It's been a lot of fun. Thank you for everybody participating and contributing. I know Gina contributed, Oriana, Tandra, Louie, in terms of topics that we covered tonight. Thank you also, Aaron and Brian, for being here, and Michelle, and everybody else. And if you want to contribute to these shows, we'd love to get your input. If you don't want to be live, you don't have to be, but you can come on our fellowship and go to the room that is specifically designed for Sunday Night Live, and you can leave your ideas there. And we'd love to see what you have. We almost always take from your ideas that are being shared, so we'd love to hear more of what you have to say. Is there anything in YouTube? Anybody on YouTube have anything that they want to share that anybody saw?
Let me see right now. Note the dome is. It says, note the dome above the dome is also the water, even as beneath the earth there is water.
Yes.
Right.
Kind of like the firmament, right? The water above the water. Separate the water from the water. Okay.
And then it says 8 Ninevehs. 8 means watch. There are 8 watches of 19 years, each 2024. 152 equals 1872 Civil War America. That's it.
Okay. Careful with that WAR word. Okay. Cool. Interesting. Intriguing. Well, guys, thanks so much for tuning in. And we'll be back next Sunday. But tomorrow we have Bible Q&A. So right here in the fellowship, if you go to the left-hand side and you scroll up here, you will see, if I can get up there, a calendar. And it gives you the events that we have going on throughout the week. Tomorrow night we have Bible Q&A, which is any question you have in the Bible, come and ask it. And may the Lord bring us the answers. And we together will discover the answers. Bible Q&A tomorrow night, 7 p.m. Eastern Time. And then on Tuesday night, we have prayer and communion time. If you want to just come and pray and share in communion together. Wednesday night, we have open fellowship where everybody can share and just talk and sing songs and whatever you feel like doing. And then Thursday night, we also have confession and prayer on Wednesday at 6 p.m. So get it off your chest, man. Got to get that sin out of the closet so God can heal you. And then open fellowship. Oh, yeah, that's after that. And then Thursday night, we have discipleship class. And then we also have discipling groups. If you want to get into a small group and be a disciple of Christ, we have groups to get you in there so you can kind of get more personal help and individual attention there. And then game night on Friday night. And then Saturday, we have Bible study. We're doing the Beatitudes right now. So come join us for that at 12 p.m. Eastern on Saturday. And then Saturday night, we have movie night. And then we're back to Sunday service at noon on Sunday. And then we'll see you at Sunday Night Live. Guys, it's been awesome being with you today. Please hit that like button, that subscribe button. Please make sure you're subscribed. Please share this video with other people. We are suppressed. These videos do not get out to people. People are always reporting to us that they can never find us and that it doesn't show up on their page and doesn't show up in description. And they basically have kept us at the same place. They remove subscribers on a daily basis. So just make sure you're subscribed and share with your friends and come join us in the fellowship. We love you guys. Wishing you all the best and all the blessed. And Maranatha.